Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. Today I have a very dynamic woman with me. She's a very powerful woman of God and she's here to share her testimony with us. So thank you for being here today.
You're most welcome.
And this lady right here is my mother.
Yes.
So she's going to tell us a little bit about her life, and she's been an inspiration to me, and I'm pretty sure that you today will be blessed. So again, thank you for being here. She agreed to do this video and I'm so grateful, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to be blessed, so don't go anywhere. So tell us a little bit about the circumstances that surrounded your birth.
Okay, my mother was 19 when she got pregnant with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in Hanover.
Mm-hmm.
And, my mother was a little bit stressed because she was a young teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, because of that, I got very sickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I born as a sick child.
Mm-hmm.
When I grew up until I was about 4, I was still sick.
Oh. Mm-mm.
And so a lot of my relatives say that I'm going to die.
Oh no.
They all planned my funeral.
Mm-mm.
And so it was God who kept me alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mother told me
Mm-hmm.
that every day she have to take me to the doctor. Right now I have a hole in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
That is an evidence
Uh-huh.
of my sickness. I was so sick
Mm-hmm.
that the doctor had to launch a hole in my stomach
Mm-hmm.
to help me to be alive.
Oh.
And so it was God who kept me,
Mm-hmm.
and the faith of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
She was then a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
was a strong Christian, just entered into the Christian environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so her prayer
Mm-hmm.
and have kept me,
Mm-hmm.
and I think God have a purpose and a plan for me why I am still alive.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So did the doctors ever tell your mother what was the sickness? Why were you sick? Was there a diagnosis?
No, I have never heard she talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
about the diagnosis of my
Mm-hmm.
sickness. I don't think, I was so sick that I don't think the doctor know about it, because even the doctor himself gave up on me.
Oh. Oh. Well. So you were born sick, and then you grew up. How was your raising like? Did you grow up sick? Did you get to go to school?
Well, when I was 5,
Mm-hmm.
I went to live with my grand aunt, who became a grandmother in the family.
Oh.
Because my grandmother died when my aunt was a little girl, maybe about 8 or so.
Mm-hmm.
So she became the grandmother of the family.
Okay.
And the tradition was that the first grandchild, they would adopt the first grandchild,
Mm-hmm.
the African culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was given to my grand aunt,
Mm-hmm.
who acted as a grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was grown with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was a Christian when I
Okay.
knew her.
Okay.
So I grew up in the Christian faith, believing God. She told me a lot of story
Mm-hmm.
in the Bible, and I always want to listen to Bible story. I always want to hear about God, even if I don't understand. I want to hear about God.
Okay. So so then did you get to reconnect back with your mother?
Yes, I reconnect back with my mother at age 7.
7.
Yes.
Okay. So did you go back and live with her?
No, I didn't. I didn't
Okay.
live with her.
Okay.
I grew all along with my grand aunt
Okay.
until she died.
Okay, until she died.
Yes, when
So-
she died, I was about 17.
17. Okay. So at what point in time did you go back and maybe live with your mother, spend more time with her, get to know your mother?
About the age 17.
17.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, shortly after your mother became sick, my grandmother became very ill. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. I I remember one summer morning, she was in the kitchen looking after some breakfast. She get up early because she not normally go to church early. Church start at 9:30. And so she was in the kitchen and I see her tumbling over a little bit.
Oh.
So I asked her what is wrong with her. She said she's not feeling well. And then shortly she went into the house. And when she went into the house...
So she was preparing breakfast to go to church?
She was preparing breakfast to go to church.
Okay.
So after she went back into the house, I took her to the house. I said, go and rest. And then we found out that she cannot talk. And she just wanted to lay down and it's as if life was leaving her body.
Oh no.
So we decided to take her to the doctor. We went to one doctor, the first doctor named Dr. King in Oakville, Hanover. And then he said he can't help her. We must take her to Cornwall Regional Hospital.
And that is the regional hospital in that area?
Yes, the regional hospital.
So it's much better than the one in the local town?
Exactly. And so the doctor looked at her and they do a lot of tests.
Okay.
And 5 of them came to me and said to me that I can't help your mother. I must take her to a bush doctor.
So who is a bush doctor?
Well, in Jamaica, a bush doctor, you would mention them as a mother people who used to heal people with sickness.
So hold on, let me ask you a question. I mean, isn't a bush doctor an Obeah man?
Also an Obeah man too.
Right. So the doctors actually told you that they can help your mom. You should take her to an Obeah man.
Exactly.
Oh man. So how old were you at the time? Because you're the oldest, right? So you were the one in charge of making all the decisions at the time.
Yes.
So how old were you at the time?
At that time I was about 22.
So you were 22 and then you had the responsibility of either allowing your mother to die or taking her to the Obeah man.
Exactly.
That might, I mean, that's a very heavy responsibility.
Exactly.
I mean, and knowing that you had a Christian background, what did you choose to do?
Well, before I told you another part of the story.
Yes.
I have an uncle who professed to be an Obeah man. And
did he profess to be or was he an Obeah man?
Well, he was.
Okay.
But and so he took some vial and put it one over the door, one over the window. But I was inside the house when he put it there. So one of my brother told me that, my small brother told me that. And so I went there and I took them down and I threw them through the back door. And he came back and he was looking for them. And he didn't see them. So he began to quarrel and carry on. So I told him, no, it is a no. He was saying to me that if I want his sister to die, and I said, well, she is your sister, she's my mother, and I love her even more than how you love her. And so I am leaving it into God's hand. Whatever God wanted to do, let him do it. And that was the end of the conversation between the both of us.
So this uncle, is an Obeah man.
Yes.
And seeing that his sister was sick, he took the vial, brought it to the house,
yes,
and put it all over the house, you said.
Yes.
And then you saw the vial, and then you got into a confrontation.
Exactly.
And this confrontation led you to say to him that it is better for my mother to die than to be involved in this satanic ritual.
Exactly.
Okay, so I mean, and that is strong faith.
Yes,
that is strong faith, because I know that every child loves their mother. So you taking that stand must have been I mean, a faith experience for you.
Of course, because
and then you have your uncle turning against you, and your family turning against you. That cannot be a very easy experience.
No.
But I mean, so the doctors told you to take her to OBM, and then what did you tell the doctors?
I did not answer the
You didn't
doctor
answer
because
it.
first I heard about this bush doctor business. I don't know what he was talking about.
So and so on. So
But I know it wasn't something good.
so it wasn't something good. So afterwards you realized it was that the doctor was talking about.
Exactly.
So I mean, so her sickness progressed. Did she get any form of help? I mean, afterwards, I mean, so she went. So you took her home, and then what? I mean, was she on any medication? Was she, what? I mean, what's her state like? Was she improving? Um.
No, she was on any medication because the doctor didn't give her any medication because he don't know what to give her because they don't know what is wrong with her. So her church Bridget would came every day to look for her, and finally they don't know what to say. But I know they were praying for her, and they were also planning funeral for her too.
Oh wow!
Because they came, they tried to feel her pulse, feel her heartbeat. Tried to lift her hand. Her hand was so heavy, her body was so heavy, and they say she's dying.
Oh.
So it makes sense for us to plan the funeral.
So the funeral was being planned.
Yes.
And that must have been a very difficult experience to plan your own mother's funeral.
Yes, it was.
Mhm.
It was because my sibling was small, and it was not easy.
So how many siblings were they?
It was six
of us, and you are the oldest one.
Yes.
You're the eldest.
Yes.
And so if she was to die, then a lot of responsibility will fall back on you.
Yes, fall on me and their father.
And their father too.
Yes,
So
but it would be very hard.
very, very difficult. So the funeral was being planned, and take us through the process of what happened between the funeral being planned.
Okay, and the Friday evening, they normally have family worship.
So that the Friday evening will be like the Sabbath, beginning of the Sabbath
Exactly.
hour.
Exactly. So we stand around her bed, all of us, and we have our normal family worship. And we asked everybody was to pray. I don't know what get in my head, but I asked everybody to pray.
To pray.
Yes, from the smallest to the oldest one, which was my stepfather. And so all of us prayed. And at the end of the prayer, just as the last person prayed, we see her get up off her bed, took off her clothes, and stand up and held her hand up into the air.
So hold on. So she was not able to walk before. Was she able to stand before?
Nothing.
So she couldn't stand.
No.
And she couldn't walk.
No.
And so you, after everyone praying together, when you open your eyes, so how did you get to see her? I mean, was her room door open to the living room?
We were right in her room. Right.
So
in
you
her
guys
bed.
were in her room.
Yeah,
Okay.
right over her
So
bed.
over her bed. So
Yes.
she was able to stand after praying,
Yes.
and her hands was up. You said.
Yes, our two hands.
Her two hands was up.
Yeah.
That is something else.
I tell you, it was a shocking thing. It was very shocking. And what I realized, I don't know what my sibling realized, that they were young. But I realized that something supernatural is happening.
Something supernatural happened.
But I just could not tell. And so I asked her, I just could keep my peace. And I asked her, what? I said, we call her Miss Mommy. So we said, Miss Mommy, what happened? And she said, you don't see the angel?
An angel, wow.
And I said, no. See, you don't see the angel, tall angel. He said his name is Gabriel. And he had a vial with some olive oil. And so he poured it in my hand, and that's what she was saying to me. And I was anointing my body with it. And
So
then
he poured it in her hand, and she was anointing, and that's why she had her clothes off, because she was anointing her body with the vial that this
with
Gabriel,
the
oil that this Gabriel angel poured in her hand.
yes.
And you know, it's a very it's a very powerful thing, because it was the same Gabriel that went to Mary,
Yes.
went to announce to Mary that she was gonna carry the Messiah. And wasn't the same Gabriel that went
Daniel.
to Daniel?
Yes.
And what about the same Gabriel? Did Gabriel go to Zachariah, to Zachariah as well? That's John the Baptist's father.
That's right.
So it appears that Gabriel goes on very important missions.
It seems to be.
So she said that so how did she know it was the angel Gabriel?
The angel told her
Oh.
his name.
Oh.
That my name is Gabriel,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sent. First, the angel said, "The prayer have been answered."
The prayer have been answered.
Yes.
God is a God that answers prayer.
That's right. And I was sent to anoint you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the angel said to her,
Mm-hmm.
"The healing is not complete.
Mhm.
Go to the church, ask the elders of the church to pray and sing Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound."
That's saved
And
a wretch like me.
the rest like me. And there
Mm-hmm.
the healing will be complete.
So when she she went to the church.
Yes, we went to the church. We walked to the church.
She was able to walk to church.
She was able to walk to church. And we live about 2 miles.
2 miles. So
Yes.
that happened the Friday night.
Yes.
And the Saturday she was able to walk to church
Saturday
2
morning.
miles.
2 miles.
2 miles.
Yes.
The same lady that the funeral was being planned for was able to walk 2 miles to church. That is amazing. That is amazing. So when she got to church, I just can imagine the shock on everybody's face.
It was very shocking to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It was very shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we went there, she walked very slowly, not fast.
Yes.
So I would leave early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So by we reached, they were about to go to the pulpit to begin their midday sermon. And one of the elder see her coming up. Coming up. I said, "Wait, is that Sister Henry that? Is Sister Henry that?" And then his name was Brother Oswald Dias. And it was the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Chambers, Hanover. It happened. So he said, "Sister Henry, come this way, come this way, come this way." And we went there. And the gentleman take her into the church. We didn't told him anything yet, because they were so excited that they didn't ask any question.
Oh.
And so he said that, "Let us pray for Sister Henry." And they began to pray. And at the end of the prayer, they sang this song, "Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound."
Oh, the same song that the angel told her to go to the church and sing this song and have the elders pray for her.
Right.
And sing this song.
And afterwards, she told them the story of what took place and told them about the same very song that they sang. And I told her that was really the midday sermon, because everybody was excited. Everybody was shocked because they came to the house. They see her with their own eyes.
And they were involved in the planning of this funeral as well.
They were involved because they came there every day to visit her.
And to see the same sick lady walk into church and giving that powerful testimony, that must have been. And the doctors told you to take her to an Obia man. Your uncle, who is an Obia man, decided to intervene. And you know what happened? You stood your ground and you stood on the faith of Christ, and God came through.
That's right.
God came
That's
through,
right.
and that is really very, very encouraging.
That's
But I mean, recently God has told you that this experience was for you,
yes.
and so therefore we're gonna talk about that. And I think we're going to have to do a part two to talk about that, because this experience is for you. And normally, when God tells you that gives you a reason to believe, it means that there might be some kind of trouble coming your way, and you're gonna have to look back and remember all the good things that God have done for you, and hold on to that through your tribulation. So we're gonna have to do a part two to cover that story, because this part one was so dynamic, and I'm pretty sure maybe part two is going to be even greater. And so don't miss part two, because we're going to come with part two very, very soon. So share, like, and subscribe so you can be informed when part two hits. All right. Thank you for being here. My name is Anne again, and this is my mother Brenda. And I'm not sure if I really introduced her or not, because I got so caught up in the conversation. So stay tuned.